When you walk into a hotel, what's the first thing you really notice? Is it the big fancy lobby? The person smiling at the front desk? Well, today we're going to pull back the curtain on the one department that probably has the single biggest impact on your stay, but it's the one you almost never see in action. We're talking about the invisible engine, housekeeping.
So let's just ask it straight up. What's the most important department in a hotel? You know, your first thought might be the front desk, they check you in, or maybe the restaurant. But what if the real answer is the team that works completely behind the scenes? The one that makes sure every single space is absolutely perfect before you even set foot in the door.
To really get it, let's zoom all the way in and start with just a single room, because this isn't just about cleaning, not at all. It's this incredibly detailed, almost choreographed process, and it's all designed to create that perfect wow moment when you first walk in.
I mean, just look at the bed. Making a hotel bed isn't just, throwing some sheets on. It's a science. You can see here it's a whole 7-step process. Every single step, from physically pulling the bed away from the wall to get those perfectly tight corners to folding the duvet just so, is all about consistency and making it feel brand new every time.
And of course, it goes way beyond the bed. Turning over just one room means going through this massive checklist. We're talking about disinfecting every single surface, checking every light bulb, every remote, every faucet, and then doing a final top-to-bottom inspection. It's not just tidying up. It's like hitting a reset button on the entire room for the next guest.
Okay, so getting one room perfect is already a huge task. But now, try to imagine doing that for 100 rooms, or 200 rooms, every single day. That's where the real, behind-the-scenes challenges start to pile up.
And one of the biggest historic hurdles has always been this tricky relationship between the front desk and housekeeping. See, the front desk needs information right now. They need to know which rooms are clean and ready for an early check-in. But housekeeping traditionally has been running on paper schedules and manual reports, which creates these huge delays and a ton of friction.
And this quote just hits the nail on the head. It perfectly explains the problem. Using old-school tools like clipboards and paper reports. Well, that means a housekeeper could finish a room, but the front desk might not find out it's ready for hours, not until that piece of paper physically makes it back to the office.
And if those communication gaps weren't tough enough, the department also struggles with one of the highest staff turnover rates in the entire industry. This means there's this constant need to hire and train new people, which puts an enormous amount of pressure on the team to keep hitting those impossibly high standards we just saw. So how in the world do modern hotels fix all this? Well, this is where technology steps in. The role of the housekeeper is being completely transformed by a new powerful digital toolkit.
At the very heart of this change is something called the Property Management System, or PMS. The best way to think about it is as the hotel's digital brain, or its command center. It connects everyone. So the second a guest checks out, housekeeping gets an alert on a mobile device, and the instant they mark a room is clean, the front desk sees its status flip to available. It all happens in real time.
And the PMS is really just the beginning. We're now seeing mobile apps that put digital checklists in everyone's hands, AI that can actually predict staffing needs, and even things like RFID tags to keep track of all the linens. It's a full-blown tech revolution.
And here's what that looks like in practice. All that information just flows instantly between departments. So a guest checks out, boom, a task is created. A housekeeper grabs it on their device, they do the work, they mark it as complete, and the front desk can immediately check in the next person. That frustrating lag time, it just disappears.
But, and this is a really important but, as the CEO of Muse points out here, just buying the software isn't some magic fix. It takes a real cultural shift. You absolutely need someone on the team who champions the new system, who gets everyone excited and makes sure they're trained properly. Because without that, even the best tech is just going to sit there.
Okay, so we've seen the incredible art of cleaning a single room, and we've seen the tech that makes it all possible at scale. But why does all of this matter so much? What's the real, ultimate payoff for getting housekeeping right?
Well, it's because it is directly, and I mean directly, tied to the hotel's bottom line. A recent study actually managed to quantify it, proving for the first time that there is a clear, measurable link between how good the housekeeping is and whether or not a guest ever comes back.
And here is the proof. Just look at that first bar. The study found that perceived service quality, which is mostly driven by housekeeping, has an impact on guest satisfaction that's almost 4 times bigger than the room amenities. It means a perfectly clean room is way more important than a fancy coffee machine or a big TV.
And that service quality isn't just about the cleaning tasks themselves. It's also about the professionalism of the staff you might see in the hallway. Even the briefest interactions count. Those simple nonverbal things, a smile, making eye contact, they make guests feel genuinely welcomed and safe, and that builds trust.
And that powerful link between guest satisfaction and guest loyalty, it all boils down to this one single, incredibly powerful number.
0.915. What that means is a satisfied guest is over 91% likely to intend to come back. Just think about that for a second. The hard work of that invisible engine, the housekeeping department, is the single most important factor in creating the kind of satisfaction that brings guests back again and again.
So the next time you check into a hotel and you see that perfectly made bed, or maybe you find a little mint on your pillow, I hope you'll think about the incredible, complex, high-tech, and deeply human system, that invisible engine that had to work flawlessly behind the scenes to put it there.